People don't choose the best, they choose the familiar. This is really important. Let me say it to you again. People don't choose the best, they choose what they're familiar with. Often we take it personal when somebody doesn't, sign up for our event, do our thing, whatever that might be, and we end up having a lot of feels about it versus understanding that most of the time, more than anything else, the reason why we're getting no's from people is because they don't know us. They don't like us and they don't trust us. They don't really truly understand who we are, know us well enough to be able to give us that immediate yes. People that know us, that love us, they want to do work with us. But the people who have never heard of us, they want to know who we are before they just jump into, working with us, giving us their money, telling us their private information, any of those kind of things. That makes sense. I know this truth stings, but also once you embrace it, it will free you in a way that many things else never will. You see, when you can really, truly embrace, you can really, truly take in the fact that it's not a personal rejection, it's them giving you the feedback of the fact that you're just not somebody that they know well enough to be able to invest in yet. And then it stops being some kind of personal attack, some kind of assault on your character, your personality. It just becomes a understanding of how marketing really truly works. You see, here's the thing. All right. Like Coca-Cola, don't like it. It doesn't really matter whether you drink sodas or you don't. Okay. The concept of having a Coke is the universal thought of having a carbonated beverage, really. And we kind of use it generically in that way because it's known, it's familiar. And so often, people who, are even really thinking Mountain Dew or a Sprite, or, maybe they even want something like, oh, what's the one? The new one that used to be called Mother, and they changed the name of it. It'll come to me. Anyway, all kinds of different caffeinated, carbonated beverages. But generically, they refer to them as Coke. So much so that when you go through the grocery store and you're going down the aisle, if you grab the 2 liter, the great big giant 3 liter bottle of generic cola, people still say, yeah, I grabbed some Coke. Even though they didn't, even though the Coca-Cola company didn't make any money off of that. Familiarity. Okay. And you may, because there are people who, when it comes to Coke versus Pepsi, they have very strong, definite opinions. And you may be able to have a very strong opinion of that. You may be like, no, I really don't like it. But we still use that phrase because we're familiar with it. Same thing's true with like the word Kleenex. This tissue, this facial tissue that you use to blow your nose with, to wipe off, makeup off and those kind of things. It's actually a facial tissue. But when we, when we talk about it, we tend to say, hey, can you grab me a Kleenex? Even when it's generic, even when it's one of their competitors like Puffs or things like that. Darth, glad to have you here with me. I'm no longer drinking soda, but if it was Mountain Dew, I am kind of a purist. I like the old school original. And yeah, pop, that's a great word too, Darth. I'm glad you brought it up because in certain parts of the country, it's pop. And in other parts of the country, it's soda. And you can tell what part of the country a person's from by whether they refer to it as having a pop or refer to it as having a soda. Okay, it's familiarity. It doesn't mean that they're talking about something different. It's just a matter of what are they familiar with. Yes, jacuzzi is a brand name of a type of hot tub or a jetted tub. Okay. In fact, they're always constantly running commercials here for the jacuzzi bath remodel company that, basically comes in and they're essentially making showers, is what they pretty well talk about in the commercial. But it's the jacuzzi company, it's the jacuzzi brand of bathroom and other types of wetness supplies. Okay. That is familiarity. Whether they're the best or not, you could go to Consumer Reports and you could look up, hey, Seven, glad to have you here with us. You could look up a particular product that you know it by the brand name, and you may refer to that product as the brand name. But you may find that on Consumer Reports that the testing that they've done, when they do blind testing and they don't tell the people, this one's Coke, this one's Pepsi, this one's generic, this one, when they do those kind of testings, it's interesting to see often that, it isn't necessarily the name brand that owns that category and that whole concept. Often they're not the ones that win. There are other people who do it. Who do it much better. Okay. And it also isn't the person who does the cheapest. I love the Abraham Lincoln quote. There's nothing that you can do in this world that somebody can't find a way to do it cheaper. The question is quality. You see, you don't want to be known as the person who's the cheapest in your market. You don't want to, I hope for you that you are known as being the best in your market. But what you want to be is top of mind. You want to be known. You see, we buy from people that we know, like, and trust. Our 3 C's: clarity, consistency, connection. Okay? When we clearly and consistently reach out to connect one-on-one to individuals, to specific people. When I call Darth out by name, when I call Seven out by name, I'm talking to them specifically. We connect people to people. Okay. Now, I want you to think as me as the best, as the absolute go-to answer person for marketing, for visibility, especially when it comes to your book and your message. Hey, if you want your book to not only make it to the bestseller level, but to be continually, ongoingly seen and making an impact, Steve's your guy. I want you to think of me as the best in that space. But the important part of that isn't that you think of me as the best, it's that you think of me. Right? And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that's really difficult on our ego, because what we really want is the world ranting and raving about how amazing we are. Okay. And we talk about the Seth Godin quote, better to have 100 raving fans than 10,000 people who could care less. And we do want to have those raving fans, and those intensely in our corner people are the ones that we really have the know, like, and trust with. Not the, oh, wow, they're so impressive. And, the things that make our egos feel really good, but don't make us any money. It's that they've worked with us and that they can say calmly and confidently, oh, yeah, I worked with that person and I absolutely want to work with them more. You see, again, we don't buy the brilliance. You can come on live, or you could do something evergreen, and it could be absolutely amazingly brilliant. I just did another test just to, kind of reiterate in my own mind everything that I'm saying here to you. I compared the concept of what I do acquiring reviews for people. So we're not buying reviews, we're doing the legwork for you for reviews. Okay, it's very important that I say that, because buying reviews is against Amazon's terms of service. Paying a company to go out, find the people that will actually buy your book, and then do the follow-up for them to get reviews, that's fine. That's just work, okay? That's finding legitimate people that want to buy your book, that legitimately will say things about your book, okay? I compared that process to putting together, what the couple of different places and people that I checked it with said was a pretty insightful, pretty, if you will, brilliant little mini masterclass on the same concept that my book, Bestsellers Only a Beginning, is talking about. And I compared them side by side on the impact of how many people got it here, how many people got it there, what did it cost for this, what does it cost for that. And I can tell you more than astoundingly, I'm talking like more than 10 to 20x the process of actually acquiring real people and getting them, both in the fact that A, you absolutely do get those sales, and B, it increases your ranking, which means that C, you also get additional sales to that. And the more you do that, the more that you create that visibility and that exposure, the more that people know you, the more that they'll like you. And as they know and like you, they'll build that trust with you. And that recognition, that trust, that familiarity, that's who we buy from. You have a grocery store that you go to. Okay, where I live, and I live in the middle of nowhere. Many of you know that. I'm about a 30-minute drive. It's technically 25 minutes one way and 30 the other if you want to be really finicky about it. But I'm essentially about a 30-minute drive between two stores. One is a regular grocery store. It's called Ray's, whatever. I think it's Ray's Apple Market. And the other one is a Walmart. Okay, now Walmart has more variety. Sometimes when you're talking groceries, not as much, but sometimes a little lower prices. They do definitely have huger bags. Like, you can buy the great big giant bags of, big as your whole body. Well, I mean, they're only really actually 10 pounds, but, of French fries or things like that, right? You can do that at Walmart. Whereas at a regular grocery store, you're more down to like, 2-pound bags of, vegetables or fries or, frozen stuff, right? But we could go either way, all right? Now, here's the thing, all right? In the town where Ray's is, if I go another 2 minutes beyond that, there's another grocery store. Couldn't tell you the name of it. Not because it's not a great grocery store, not because I haven't even been there a couple of times. 3 doors down from that is a Dollar General, okay? But we go often, most of the time, to Ray's, drive by, if like I'm going to the doctor's office, which is beyond all of those, and then coming back and I need to stop at the grocery store and get something, drive by all of those and stop at Ray's. Okay. The same is true when you talk about Walmart. We could go to one of those over that way, but instead we drive to Walmart to get all the things that you want to go to Walmart to get. And you understand that. And again, same thing's true in that same town where the Walmart is. There's 3 or 4 grocery stores in that town. Now we could go that way and we could go to the other grocery store than not Walmart in that town. But again, there's the familiarity, the name that we know and we trust. Now, in the case of Walmart, my mom worked for Walmart for like 17 or 18 years as a checker. Never took a promotion beyond just being the beep, beep, hi, how you doing today? Lady at Walmart, okay? She really loved the job and regrets that she didn't, her physical health was getting to the point. I mean, she worked until she was like 77 or no, a lot older than that, till she was almost 80, but she still is like, man, I wish I would have gotten my 20 and had a lifetime discount at Walmart. I think they should give her the lifetime discount just for the fact that she worked until she was almost 80. But that's just, me taking care of my mom. All right. You see, we buy from things we're familiar with. When I bring up the name Walmart, you don't probably know Ray's Apple Market unless you happen to live in Clay Center, Kansas. But you've heard of Walmart. You're like, oh yeah, I can totally see why you'd go to Walmart. Or, you absolutely hate Walmart. Either way, familiarity is who we buy from. It's who we choose. Does Walmart have the best stuff? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Often it's the same. Do they have the best prices? Sometimes yes, sometimes definitely not. But are they familiar? If I say I'm going to stop at Walmart, you know exactly where I'm going. If I said I'm going to, even like when I said Dollar General, some of you are like, oh yeah, I totally know Dollar General. Others of you are like, what's Dollar General? Is it anything like Dollar Tree? You know, familiar, and we know it. Therefore, we trust that it's going to be okay. Your clients, your people that you're meant to serve are exactly the same, and they want that familiarity with you. And what you need is, because like I said, I tested it, 10 to 20x minimum, doing the concept of getting real sales and real people that are getting your book and really reading it. And then the follow up to get, them, some of them, I mean, there's others that won't, to leave a review on your book. And we do all the follow up. And it's gonna outpace any of your marketing that you ever do. These are marketing programs, okay? If you spend $500 on Facebook and you get one sale, maybe, okay, which if you just only spend $500, you may not even have it, have the whole algorithm learn your ad well enough that you get any sales. Versus if you spend $500, having us really legit go out and get you people, we'll even do it based on a guarantee. In fact, my Kickstart program, now there's actually a higher package than this, but the Kickstart program, I'll do the first 10 for you for just $500. We'll do all the acquisition, all the follow-up, make sure that it's posted, and no matter how many people we get to get your book, we're only going to charge you for the 10 that we absolutely do the follow-up and make sure that they put reviews. And we'll keep going until we get you the 10, period. It's just how it works. Now, it's a very well-honed system so that we are acquiring people on that same basis. Sound interesting? You ready for real familiarity that creates real recognition that allows you to really make a difference? If you are, DM or comment the word review. I would love to talk to you about how you can be visible and valuable. Because people don't buy brilliance, they buy recognition. Let's get you recognized today. Tomorrow we're going to get together. We're going to talk about how visibility isn't luck. It's a system. We touched on that a little bit today, but we're going to dive really deep into that. And until then, I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved. And then until we're together again next time, you have a great, great week.